You have an incredible purpose to make a difference in this world. But purpose must be discovered and character must be developed. Because great leaders aren't born, they're built. So get ready, gamers. It's time to level up. This is the Level Up Podcast. What is up, gamers? And welcome to the Level Up Podcast, weekly content devoted to helping gamers level up in their life, faith, and leadership. My name is Pastor Souzy. Good to have you back or here for the first time, whatever platform you're watching on. And every week, we've come to feed those who are hungry to learn, grow, and level up. And we have so many conversations around, like I said, life, faith, leadership. But today we want to have a special conversation and help you level up in your friendship. So for today's conversation, I brought one of my friends, someone some of y'all know, you love him. His name is Pastor Influence. Coming on the screen now, my man. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Chat, everybody. It's so good to see you. So excited for today's podcast. Let's go. Let's go.
Man, I want to have a good, healthy conversation today around the topic of friendship. And I thought of you, got some great friends, but I love you as our community pastor. It's something I think probably out of all my friends, you're probably the most passionate that I know about the topic of friendship.
Absolutely, bro. I care a lot about it.
You've challenged me so much as a friend. Like, you've helped me to become a better friend. You've helped me, honestly, one of the biggest ways to make sure I'm prioritizing friendship in my life. Because dude, everyone listening right now, like, y'all are busy. Your schedules are full. But one of the reasons I love Pastor Influence is he just is always helped me remember, like, dude, friendship is a priority. Like, please hear me. He's not like spam me being like, bro, you never love me, you never text me. That's what I'm saying. But just by being around him, he just to reminding me, like, dude, if we don't prioritize friendship, it won't happen. It won't happen. Yep. And I think the topic of friendship for so many people is something that they want, but few people actually have. And so as we dive into the beginning of this conversation, the power of deep friendship and why you need it, why I need it. And I really want to start this conversation off talking about a word that for a lot of people is probably taboo, and I think misunderstood. And it's the word intimacy. And when I even throw out the word intimacy, so many of y'all, your minds are already going physical, man. Like, you're already there. And obviously that can be an element of intimacy in marriage between a man and a woman. Absolutely can be. However, intimacy is so much more than that, man. Yeah. We were just talking off screen before we started the recording that I've heard it said this way. You mean, this is a good phrase. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that I didn't come up with it first, but yeah. I've heard it put this way, that intimacy is into me, you see. It's letting other people into the secret places, man. It's letting people into the places that maybe not many people know, and there's a closeness involved. It's actually right now, honestly, guys, it's a conversation literally we're having as a staff right now about our church, and as an online church, how can we make things more intimate, more close knit, where we're taking people from strangers to friends. And this is one of the biggest ways, Influence, you have inspired me on. Just like, this man is like, dude, I'm not like, he's like, I got a brand new baby. I ain't got no time to have these shallow small talk conversations.
That's
like,
real.
Let's get deep.
Come on, dude.
So, bro, like, I honestly love to even hear just your mindset. Like, for the short amount of time that we've been like close friends, it was so evident that intimacy mattered to you. Yeah. For you, like, where does that come from? What is that hunger for you to, like, let's just get past the how's the weather, let's get into some real life-giving, honest conversation. Yeah. Where does that even come from for you?
I mean, it comes from the desire to, like, just really know people. Like, way too often we're walking around in the world today asking people how they're doing and getting the same good answer all the time. You know, it drives me nuts when people are like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. Oh, good. See you next week. Like, no, man, like, just drawing near to people, like actually being heard. It's crazy. Statistically, like, if you asked people, like, what matters to them, one of the most important statements they will say is being heard, actually being heard. And in order to be heard, like, you have to begin to be open and intimate. And like this podcast episode, it's deep friendship, man. We can't sit on the shallow end of the pool anymore. We have to dive in to the deep end and not only get to know others intimately, but intimately open ourselves up. Because that's a big part of it too. Like, people are not going to let you in unless you let them in too.
Yeah.
Like it is not a one-sided conversation. So yeah, like that's what I think really helps me.
And you said that like so many people desire to be heard. It made me think of something I heard once where people also desire to be known.
Yes.
And they long to be known, but they have a fear that if I was known, I wouldn't be loved. If you knew, here's the reality, man. We all got a dark side. We all got it.
Absolutely.
We just out here fighting stuff,
Absolutely.
struggling, battling. Hey, my name is Pastor Souzy. My name is Matt Souzy. That's my real name. And I got some struggles. I got some hurts. I got some battles. I have battles that I not meant. Yeah, I meant 10 years ago and I was struggling. No, today when I'm struggling,
hey,
like in real time, present, that I go to friends, health, and we're gonna talk about accountability later in this episode.
Yep.
But I think there's a huge fear, bro, that a lot of people like. They're like, man, if I was really deeply, intimately known, I wouldn't be loved. And so for me as a follower of Jesus, that's why I'm so thankful to serve a God who does know you, knows your deepest, darkest secrets, and he still loves you.
He loves you.
And one, I hope you just receive that as a word right now, just for you and know that God loves you, sees you, accepts you, welcomes you into his kingdom despite your past. But even some Christians I've talked to, like, yeah, but that's how God works, not people. And that may be true for some, but it's not true for all. There are some people, when you find the right people that you can get around and really let them see the real side of you, probably not on day one of meeting each other, right? It's probably got to be some buffer.
Yep, absolutely.
Some friendship.
Absolutely.
But walk us through, Tony, like, what has it been like for you to begin friendship, and how do you practically go from strangers to intimate close friends? What are some things that you practice in actually getting there?
Yeah, I think dropping like that fear wall slowly, just by starting out honestly having some interest. So a great challenge I gave to a lot of young adults was we created a board game group. And we would hang out and play board games together. And as we played board games together, the conversation we would have with one another just naturally flowed. And as you begin to hang out with people, you begin to naturally like just get to know one another. Yeah. It starts with like, hey, what do you enjoy doing? And from what do you enjoy doing to like, I heard you were struggling this week. Like what's been going on? And it just takes a moment. Like, and that's the beauty of it. It isn't this thing that just, you can't force it.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
But you have to be open to it. You have to be willing to say, hey, like, here's where I'm at. You can share what you would like. I'd love to get to know more about you, but here's where I'm at personally. And when you open up, it gives other people the ability to open up. And then just like, for me personally, like, there's a lot already, like so I have a physical disability. We've talked about that in a previous episode. Sure. Like, so people already see like there are things that are different. And so I've just come to realize that I'm going to embrace the different. Like, I'm different from everybody else. And so I'm just going to embrace it. And the more we embrace how different we are, the easier it is for others around us to embrace that difference.
And I think, man, you bring up such a good point, like identifying the things about you that are different. And when you find other people, like you said, that have maybe not even the same difference or uniqueness about them, but who just understand, like, maybe having a disability, or for example, if you are parents and you're struggling with whatever form of parenting, other people, it's an instant connection point. Like, people bond over their weakness, bro.
No, that's real.
And dude, I'll tell you, shallow friendships only talk about their strengths.
Yep.
Deep friendships talk about their weakness, bro.
Come on.
The struggles, this sucks and I don't know what to do about it. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like the hardship. And you know, I hear you saying these words, and I'm putting myself in the shoes of the listener. We're doing this live on stream. Which come check my llamas. I'm looking at the chat and I see some people talking about, and they're hearing you use words like closeness, vulnerable, just gotta go there. And these are words that are afraid, that are scary, that are hard to grasp. And especially in today's world, everybody just they want give me the 30-second clip, give me the TikTok version, give me the 3 shortcuts to deep friendship. And I wonder if we could just come just right out of the get-go and just, there is no shortcut.
Come on, that's real.
There is no easy way into it. There is at some point, someone in the friendship just needs to be willing to be a little weird.
Yep.
And ask the deep question. Or share, man, I'm struggling with this. Like, do you have any thoughts or feedback or help? Like, at some point, I hope you're listening right now, that if you want your friendships to level up and go to the next level, maybe you wish your friends would initiate deeper conversation.
Come on.
Maybe you wish your friends would be more honest about their struggles, but they're just not. If you want your friendship to go to that level, you just might need to be willing to be that friend. Like, one of y'all just needs to take the leap and just be like, bro, this is going on between me and my wife, and you ever experienced something like that? And there might be a little bit of shock at first.
No, for sure.
Because now the friendship just went from the latest patch notes to the biggest life struggles. Right?
For sure.
And again, we're not saying like, yo, flip a coin and pick a random person in the Discord. No, like someone you're naturally connecting with and people you're talking with. And this conversation really isn't about like how to make a friend. It's really about how to take an existing friend and really go to the next level.
Maybe
we'll do another, maybe that's an inspiration for another podcast, right? Come on. How to just simply make some friends. But like, I know for me, it feels awkward at first, but like, when you want to go to that deep place, I've just had to just reach out to people and just like I'm just the weird guy that's willing to just ask a deep question.
Yeah.
And then like the mood shifts and people are like, oh, I didn't know we could talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate so much about our friendship influence is you're just the guy that's just like, bro, we're just going to W key full send. And just like, let's talk about it. Dude. And I value that about our friendship, dude. Because life isn't easy. Life isn't
it's not
simple. It's not pretty. And what I value so much about you is that it sometimes it's even off-putting is not the right word because that seems negative, but it's I think the shock factor, like I just mentioned.
Yeah.
We'll just be talking and influence just like shares what he's thinking and struggle with in that moment. Yeah. And I'm like, just throw it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Like you've made it the norm.
Yep.
You've just made it the norm that like, this is how we talk to each other. It's not how we talk to everybody.
No, for sure.
It's how we talk to each other. And bro, it's sharpened me.
I appreciate
because
that. For real.
It shouldn't be weird.
No, it shouldn't. Well, here's what I go to. Like seriously, the reason that is my character is because I've spent way too long lonely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there are so many people who desire deep friendships because in all reality, they're actually genuinely lonely. Like nobody really knows who they are. I said this off the podcast, but if you're friends with everyone, you're friends with no one.
Ooh,
like no one really knows me. And I've spent way too long trying to like just please everybody and be known by everybody that like with the people I'm closest to, I'm just going to let you know like everything about me. And hopefully in return, you will do the same. Like with every risk, there's the opportunity for reward, but you have to be willing to take the risk. Well, you have to be willing to take the risk.
Let's talk about that risk, because absolutely. And not every risk works out, right? Has there ever been a time in your life, Influence, where you were, maybe you're testing the waters, man. You're like, with this specific person, I want to try to go there. No, sure. Has it ever failed for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Walk us through, what was that like for you?
Yeah, and so like without obviously giving too much detail, there was a person that I was like, me and this person are really starting to hit it off, and they're pretty awesome, and like I need to let them know like where I'm at and who I really am. And so we sat down one day to get coffee, and I was like, so would love to talk to you about like just where I'm at, and your story and my story, and how I feel like it relates, and so I just kind of gave them where I was at and what I was struggling with, and the person sitting across the table goes, dude, I don't know what to do with this. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, like
Yeah.
I love you, like, but like I don't think I have the ability to handle the situation you're walking in right now. Like, I don't know if I'm the close enough friend that you need in this moment. And you know what? I genuinely appreciated the honesty in that situation. Because, man, when he said, I don't know if I can handle the level of vulnerability you are needing, both from me and for me to hear, it made me go, okay, then I understand where our friendship is.
Yeah.
Not that we're not friends anymore, because if you react that way, I'm just gonna be honest, like, that's not healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
different friendships have different stages, but what it did was, I was like, okay, now that I know the worst possible scenario, now I know what it's like to be not rejected, but just like, hey, this is where we're at. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go find somebody else then.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, like, because either you could sit in that moment, because here's the truth of the situation, and we do one of two things. We either say what I said and we go, okay, then I need to go find somebody else to fulfill that shoe. If it can't be you, I have to have it, like, because I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Or we turtle shell, we hide in our shell, and we go, I'm never going to tell anybody this situation ever again, because no one's ever going to understand me. And then we end up just being alone. Like,
Yep.
and we're back at square one, and then bitterness and anger starts to arise, because nobody understands me, nobody gets my situation. But the truth is, nobody gets your situation because you're not vulnerable enough to have the conversation with people.
Ooh, he's preaching.
Like, deep, intimate friendship is about having real conversations with people. Real conversations. And I will go as far as, even in the tough friendships, like, have the tough conversation. Man, instead of talking to everybody else about what your friend did to hurt your feelings, go talk to your friend.
Absolutely.
Go talk to your friend.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, like, I learned to understand and just take, not rejection, but just realize where our friendship was and find somebody else. Because, like, every person hearing the sound of my voice needs deep, intimate friendship.
Yep.
Because even if you're married in this place, you're not just going to get it from your spouse. One of the greatest pieces of marital advice I'd ever gotten going into marriage was, don't just be friends with your wife. Don't just be friends with your wife, because there are going to be times where you're overwhelmed and frustrated, and there's a lot of weight that you carry as a man, and you're going to have to go talk to another man about that situation.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And the same is true for all the females listening. There's things that us men don't understand that you're going to go have to talk to another woman about.
Yep.
And that's called deep friendship. You're not just going to go talk to some random Steve down the street. You're going to only talk to those you're closest to about situations like that.
Absolutely. And I can imagine influence, people hearing your story, and they're just picturing you sitting at the table and taking that step of faith, like taking that leap, taking that risk. And in their mind, they're like, I could never handle what they would probably consider in that moment rejection. Could never. I put myself out there and I was rejected. And here's the deal, and this applies to all of your relationships. If you are not willing to risk rejection, you will never experience the deep closeness of relationship. Because with you, man, like, you took a shot and it missed, but then you found someone else, tried again, and that worked out. So I can't promise, like, every single person that some of you are trying to maybe grow closer with, that it'll work out. Some people might, like, I can imagine that guy across the table is like, dude, this is really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Why did you just say that to me? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But here's the deal, brother. And this is like a bigger topic for maybe probably another day. But if we want to talk about what's normal on what's average, what most people are experiencing, most people do not have close, intimate, real friends. And if that's normal, I don't want to be normal, bro.
Yep.
I don't want to be normal. If having close, real relationships where men talk to each other, women talk to each other, but the fact that they're not perfect, they don't have it all together, they're struggling, and I don't know what to freaking do about it, then I don't want to be normal, bro.
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't want to, like,
absolutely, dude. I
even,
don't.
Even when the Bible describes Christians, I love the word. It's one of my favorite words to describe Christians. Peculiar.
Yep.
These people are different, bro.
Yep.
Because they're not trying to outdo each other with their achievements.
Yep.
They're trying to carry each other's burdens.
Yep.
But I can't carry what I don't know you have.
Yeah. Dude, no, that's real. Dude, it's crazy because so I'm reading this book by John Mark Comer, and he talks about how discipleship was actually more like apprenticeship with Jesus.
Yeah.
So the disciples followed around with Jesus and lived life with Jesus. And if we are Christ followers, we are called to do the same. This just clicked in my brain, man. Jesus got rejected more than in the worst possible way possible. And so if you are a Christ follower, rejection is going to happen. It's just a part of it. And so we could do one of two things. We can let rejection stop us from the greatness of an intimate, deep friendship, or we can embrace it, sweat it out in prayer just like Jesus did, and then just get after it.
Yeah.
Peter was the only disciple to step out of the boat. But what if he never stepped out, bro? What if he never got into the deep end? He never would have had the intimate relationship that he had with Jesus.
Yep.
And the same is true with our relationships with our friends. We have to be willing to step out.
We have to.
You have to.
And for some of you, like the practical takeaway is think of a friend that currently you're closest with, that you want to get closer to, or that you need some help, whatever, and just come up with a real practical plan of, hey, I'm just going to, in our next conversation, I'm going to text this person. I'm just going to ask a person a question. Yeah. I know. I said it earlier. I know you're looking for the shortcut. You're looking for the easy way. You have to go there. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get.
Yep.
But you have to make a decision of, I'm either going to ask a personal question or I'm going to share a personal experience.
Yep.
You're looking for the cheat code. It's not there.
The cheat code is opening up. That's what it is. Like the sooner you want an intimate, close relationship fast, then open up fast. Like, here's a great example. Guys, my wife can't do the small talk. Can't do it.
Yeah, no,
like literally, we'll be playing video games and she'll be like, tell me your story. Give me all the details about who you are. And that's what I love about her. She loves the deep conversation. But if you want that deep, intimate relationship with a friend, you just gotta, the only cheat code is to open the door and let them in.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
that's it.
Right now, as you're listening, like just real practical advice, think of one friendship and think of like, hey, what question am I going to ask? What current struggle am I going to share? And you might even be able to reach out and be like, hey man, I'd love to get together and just talk about life, some stuff I'm going through. Is that cool? And like, that could be your little segue. And then if that person's like, nah, I just want to play World of Warcraft, then you're like, all right, well, you're probably not the person. Yeah. Or maybe now's not the time.
Yep. Which is also a great thing too. Yeah.
But that gives you like a pulse on where that current friendship is. And then it gives you just a real pulse and be like, okay, well, what am I going to move forward? Because I mean, so many people go through life being in a crowd, but never really having closeness. We live in a world of being in big discords. We live in a world of being in Twitch chats. And because there's some sort of shared interest, or we both like this streamer, or we both like this music artist, that somehow like we feel connected to people. And the truth is, like, you're not. My wife loves the Backstreet Boys. So for Valentine's Day a few years back, we got like really good seats for Backstreet Boys. And there was thousands of people all gathered together with a deep love for the Backstreet Boys who did not give two craps about each other. Dude, like we paid good money for those seats, bro. The person next to me, do not interrupt my experience. Like, I hope the best for you. I hope you and your wife are doing well. But like, right now, bro, I paid money to listen to them, not to listen to you, brother. Okay? Don't interrupt we're not friends.
Yep.
You and I are in the same crowd, but we are not in community.
Yep.
We're not in community. And a lot of people go through life with that illusion because we're in the same Discord, or because we're in the same Twitch chat, or oftentimes because we're in the same church.
Come on, we're
dude. Experiencing closeness. No, you're not. It's not an autopilot thing. It doesn't happen unintentionally. It happens when you participate, when you're willing to go to that next level in the friendship. And it's something we are responsible for our friendships. All of us, like, we are responsible. And that's something that, like, man, I really want to see more people experience. Cause I'll be honest, for me, man, for years, I was known by thousands of people, but known by almost nobody. And let me tell you, if you live your life that way, thousands of people will know your name, but no one really knows you. They don't understand you. They don't know your experiences. You can be known by thousands of people and be understood by no one until you take the time and you take the risk to invite a few people in. I don't have hundreds of, like, close-knit friends. I can name them all on one hand. And one of them is on the screen with you right now. And the truth is, it takes work. And that's why, and it takes consistency. And that's why I love you, man, because I am a recovering workaholic, for sure. Daily battling the to-do list and the busy schedule and the desire to keep on, like, the Lord's working it out in me. And I love and I appreciate the accountability that comes from your consistency of, like, hey, bro, when we getting together?
Come on.
Hey, bro, when we playing some games? Hey, man, miss you, bro. Hey, looking forward to connecting. And it's just like, I gotta make time. You make time for what's important. And I just it's really, really, really shaped me a lot, bro. Like, being your friend. And, like,
appreciate that.
We got to fight for what we want, bro.
Come on.
We got to fight for what matters most. And for so many years of my life, with good intentions, I want to reach people for Jesus. I want to build the church, but at the expense of having no friends. And I don't want to live that way anymore. And it's been so great. Like, in this season, you've been such a sharpening for me. And so now, and it's not even just with you. Now I'm reaching out and I'm like, yo, man, I love AJ Valdez, but I need to make more time. So I was like, yo, I'm going to get in my car and drive 14 hours.
Let's go.
To go see AJ Valdez, right? Like, I have to make the time. And it's just so easy to get caught up, be busy. And kind of segues into our next conversation I want to have about deep friendship. It really, it's the topic of accountability. And I've learned so much about, like, you have kept me accountable in just our friendship. Like, let's get together. And the reality is that accountability really only takes place in deep friendship. And a lot of people, like, they're equally tied. A lot of people, like, man, I feel like I don't really have anyone to hold me accountable, because you don't have anyone who's close enough to know what you even need to be held accountable to or for. And so it's just like, it's a recipe for shallow relationship and not knowing each other. And I've experienced in my life, and now on the other side, having friends that hold me accountable and friends that don't hold me accountable. And I think, honestly, a lot of it is it's the same recipe of deepness. You just got to be willing to go there. Like, I remember a few months back or last year, like, I'm trying to become more disciplined in my life right now. There's a lot of areas of my life where I'm like, man, I'm just not super disciplined in staying on top, time management. Like, I want to be better at what I eat. Like, I always want to be more disciplined. And there was an area of my life where I was like, I'm really struggling with this area. I was like having a mental, I was really struggling this season of my life a few months back. And I was afraid for a little while. And I was like, I've been trying to fight this battle of becoming disciplined in this area of my life by myself long enough to know my current strategy is bad. And it's not working. Like, it's not working. Because if it was, it would be over with by now. And I just remember, you and I just being a Discord call, and I was just like, I just have to rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, dude.
And just be willing to admit I'm not perfect. I'm lacking and struggling in area of my life. And I just remember coming to me like, kind of like, will you help me?
Yeah, dude.
And I'll be honest, because we have a unique relationship, right? Like, you're my friend.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm also your pastor.
For sure.
I'm also your boss.
For sure.
So it's
for sure.
And that we can maybe do a whole other podcast episode on just,
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Just that topic right there, right?
Yep.
And I just remember I was like, bro, like I'm about to admit to this guy that I have a weakness in an area of my life. What's he gonna think? And the reality is I didn't have an answer to that question until after I actually did it. But I was like, I just know I'm not going to become more disciplined in this area of my life unless somebody helps me.
Come on.
And bro, I can't express like how, first of all, how good it felt to not be rejected. How good it felt to be seen, heard, and understood. And bro, you didn't even bat an eye. Like, we were in a video call and you're just like, yeah, dude, I'm with you. How can I help? And it was just, it hit me at a deep level, man.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm doing much better today, becoming more disciplined in a certain area of my life, and time management's getting better. And I'm not perfect, but I'm doing a lot better than I was. But I wouldn't have got through that season like without your help. But most people, they're just not willing to go there, especially men. They're just not willing to admit our weakness.
Yeah.
And when you are not willing to admit your weakness, you just keep losing. You just keep losing. If you pretend to be strong, you're just going to keep losing.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get you anywhere to pretend to be something you're not.
Yep.
But in the depth of a relationship, like, that closest an experience. So, Tony, maybe give us some of your thoughts around the topic of accountability. How have you seen it be beneficial in your life? Maybe how have you seen it in moments where maybe you'd wished you had it, but you didn't? Talk to us a little bit about accountability.
No, absolutely. So here's what I think about accountability. I'm big into like team sports, always have been. And the truth is, there's not very many sports teams wise where one person makes or loses the whole game. Like, even the best players in the world still have players alongside them that they pass the ball to, or that get the layup that they got the pass to in basketball terms. But like, and I think of life the same way. Like, listen, I know what it's like to be lonely, man, and I'm not doing that anymore. And so I accountability lifts me up as much as it lifts them up. Because like you said, when you were honest with me about this situation, it did two things. One, it released the pressure off of you. The pressure off of you was immediately gone, which that's how I felt too. In my accountability with people, it's released pressure off of me to realize that I don't have to have all this figured out. We carry too much. We're carrying both yokes when Jesus said to give him one. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to figure it out on our own and we just can't. And then number two, it also helps the other person realize that they don't have to be perfect either.
Yeah.
Like, the reason I didn't bat an eye is because I knew I wasn't perfect either. You know what I'm saying? There are areas and struggles in which I struggle in too. And so, and I'll tell you, like, one of the biggest areas for a really long time, guys, for me, speaking on deep friendships, was the idea of having tons of friends. I have tried to be that guy who was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
And the reason I can say, like, if you're friends with everybody, you're friends with nobody, is because when I tried to be friends with everybody, like, I was letting more people down than I was lifting people up. You know what I'm saying? And so, in that, like, I just continued in accountability. I would just let people down. And I wished somebody sometimes, and like I said earlier, sometimes your friends have to have hard conversations with you.
Yeah.
They have to be willing to call you out. And sometimes, like, I wished in that past season that someone would have been like, Tony, you've got too many people like, you're dealing with too many people at one time.
Yeah.
You need to tighten this up. Like, I wish somebody would have held me accountable to that. You know, like, even with my disability, like, I wish there were things that people held me accountable to that probably would have helped me in my health journey later on,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't have had to deal with had people kept me accountable in the process. But yeah, I see accountability as a team opportunity. And so bring people on your team, man. Like, it's just like streaming, man. Streaming can be really lonely for those of you who are trying to be content creators.
Absolutely.
Like, streaming can be super lonely. And so get people in your corner who you can keep accountable and can keep accountable to you, whether you want to be a business owner, whether you want to be a streamer, whether you just want to have a righteous relationship with Jesus.
Come on.
Keeping people in your corner keeps you, it makes you realize, oh, if I don't read my Bible today, I have to tell somebody that I didn't do it. That extra check is a big deal.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
a really, really big deal. That extra check, it's a really big deal. But then in opportunities where you're winning, it's not, accountability doesn't work one way. It isn't only when you're losing. It's when you're winning too.
Come on.
When you're winning and you succeed in something, that same person you could tell you're lost to, you tell them your win. You tell them, you're like, man, listen, like, I got 3 more subscribers today on stream. That's wild, you know? Like, you get to tell them your win just as much as your loss. Man, I brought somebody to the Lord today. You know, the Lord really spoke to me. You know, I took a step of faith and started this business and ended up getting more clients than I thought I was going to. Like, you get to share those wins, you know? And so that's what accountability does. It isn't just a loss thing. It's also a win thing too. It's also a win thing too.
And that right there, because I totally agree, you should be sharing your losses and your wins. But that right there is why the reality is, just mathematically, you and I do not have enough time in the day to have a bunch of deep friendships. I remember during the season, Tony, where I was like, bro, I need some help in this area. You and I were texting every single day about it.
Yep.
And I'm like, the reality is, like, you and I both don't have enough time to be doing that for 17 people.
No.
There's just not enough hours in the day, bro.
No way.
And when you experience that, it like, friendship is a time commitment.
Yep.
Like, there's give and take, man. That's
Absolutely.
why, like, bro, you don't have enough time to have 74 best friends.
Yep.
You don't.
Yep. Absolutely.
You're just mislabeling those relationships.
Yep.
But when you get to that level with a small few, man, it can radically change and save your life.
Yes.
All of us, friends, myself included. The Bible talks about how from literally in our mother's womb, I think it's in the book of Psalms, talks about how we were birthed in iniquity, conceived and birthed with a sinful nature, a bend towards doing wrong. Anyone who's here, Tony, you're a new parent. Teddy's too young, he can't even talk yet. But like parents don't have to teach their children how to tell a lie. They do that just on their own. We have to teach them how to tell the truth. Yep. Parents don't have to teach their children how to be selfish. Normally, some of their first words are mine. This is mine. I don't want to share it. Yep. We have to teach our kids to be selfless. My whole point is, you and I have a bend towards doing wrong. So many people are afraid of the devil when you should be more concerned about your own mind and your own sinful nature and your own bend towards doing what is wrong. And my whole reason by saying this is, you and I, we need help overcoming our inner struggles and battles.
Absolutely.
And I can speak from experience that if I had been practicing, and it wasn't that I wasn't letting people in. It wasn't that I was refusing accountability. It's that I was so busy working all the time. I didn't have the time for the type of relationships that influence you and I are describing now. So because I didn't have the depth, because I wasn't putting in the time, then I didn't have the relationships that naturally held accountability. I can tell you, I've made mistakes in my life that if I had prior deep friendship, I've never not been willing to go there with people. I wasn't putting in the time it takes to actually go there with people. If I had better deep friendships, would have prevented me from making certain mistakes that altered the course of my life. And the reality is, all of us at some point, like, you're one bad decision away from changing your entire life.
Come on.
And your friends can rescue you.
Yep. So good.
Your friends can rescue you from the worst decision of your life. You could change your life in an instant. And that level of deep friendship to understand if I'm being honest, just your inner evil, your inner sinful nature. Like you don't want to meet yourself on your worst day. You don't want to meet him. You don't want to
Yep.
meet her. Your friends can one help you ever to get to that moment. Your friends can help you second guess a bad decision.
Come on.
And accountability, you should welcome it. Like protect one another, serve one another, know your current struggles, so those struggles they don't end up changing the course of your life. And you're only going to get there. It is your responsibility to set up safety nets in your life. My life looks very different today than it did 5 years ago. My friendships look very different today than they did 5 years ago. Like my life is very different. But I had to put in the work, get the type of friendships. I had to I had to invite those relationships, and now I have to feed those relationships so that you can have accountability. And that's why we're like right now, even as a church, again, like we're talking through like, man, like how do we're creating some things that I think will really create more intimacy between the people in our church that will lead to natural accountability with the people in our church, which will help us just closely just follow Jesus together better. Because I'll tell you, man, accountability, it's scary, it's hard, but it can change the course of your life.
Come on.
I cannot stress to you enough. It can change the course of your life. And don't wait till it's too late to wish it had it. You can start it today by identifying a relationship, taking it closer, being honest and open, and then inviting the accountability. It's okay for you to say, I need help.
Please say it.
I want somebody to hear that in the depths of your soul. It's okay for you to say to a friend, I need some help. Carry each other's burdens, the Bible says. We're not out here trying to outdo each other's achievements, pretend we all have it together. We are weak people, deeply in need of a savior and deeply in need of a friend. It's okay if you need help. I'll tell you, the longer you pretend that you're strong and have it all together, the more you will suffer. The more you will suffer. Influence, we'll go ahead and wind down our conversation with the last topic I'd like to cover today, because I think this is, it's relatable for a lot of people, but it's really relatable for you in this current season of your life. Man, not all friendships last forever. Not all friendships last forever. And I think what hurts the most is when you can do all that we're talking about today, and still some friendships don't last. Sometimes there's falling outs. Maybe there's, you were willing to have the hard conversation like we talked about in last week's episode, and something just didn't work out. Or just the natural seasons of life just drift people apart. Talk us through a little bit for you, Influence, especially as someone that feels deeply and loves deeply. Man, right now you're navigating some seasonal changes in your life. And with that has come some friendship changes. And talk to someone who's listening right now who they're going through something similar. Some friendships are changing. Some transitions are happening. How are you navigating that? How has that been for you? And how are you coming out of the other side of some friends that maybe you thought you'd have forever, but ended up only being for a season?
I think the first thing that needs to be understood in that is that it's okay to be sad about it. Like, so often we feel like we have to put on this safe face, like everything's okay, and being real is being vulnerable, and it's okay to be sad sometimes about, losing a friend or just transitioning into a season where the friendship even changes. But the other important thing that literally has just been like wrecking me is just the value of that friendship. You can look at it in two ways. You can be mad that the friendship is exiting, or you can be thankful for the life change of that friendship. Because there are friendships, like what I'm currently going through. There are friendships in my past who I'm not as close to as I used to be, who, when we were close, man, some of those experiences I had with them, some of them deep, intimate relationships, some of those deep conversations I had with some of those people will carry on for the rest of my life, will have changed me into the man that I am today. And I am incredibly grateful for those friendships. And so I try as much as I can, because again, not perfect here.
Yeah.
To stay thankful for that friendship and what it has brought to me. And like I said, it's okay to be sad. But I want to encourage you, don't transition out of a friendship and not find another one. Like, because loneliness is literally the worst. It's one of the worst things you can do, seriously. And especially as gamers, it's easy for us to play our game by ourselves and for that to be our escape.
Yeah.
Like it is. Don't do that. Man, like find intimacy somewhere else. Because like I said before, the Lord had 12 disciples who walked alongside him, and they did life together.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about the crowd earlier, it made me think of Jesus when he was sitting and he was like, eat my flesh and drink my blood, and the different responses between the disciples and the crowd were, the crowd was like, what is this guy talking about? I'm out.
They
you
left.
know?
Yeah.
They left. And Jesus asks Peter, are you guys going to leave me too?
Sheesh, bro.
And Peter goes, where else do I have to go? Like, I'm here for the long haul. And eventually, even Peter messes up. Let's just be honest. Like, Peter falls short, denies Jesus 3 times. And in the same way, like sometimes we mess up. And sometimes that changes the course of a friendship. Let's just be real. Sometimes that's the reason our friendships end.
Yeah.
But man, if we're thankful for the friendship that was there, that we had, the life-changing experiences, the vulnerability that was had in those friendships, it'll only help us going into our next friendship.
That's right.
It'll only help us going into our next friendship. Like, yeah. I think about our friendship. The reason there are things that I just naturally have started, like that naturally happened, like being intimate and vulnerable, because in the past I needed that and I didn't do a great job of it. And so I learned from it and continued on, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to echo what you said right there, man, about just this, be thankful. There have been some friendships that have ended for whatever reason. Life grew apart. Maybe there's a falling out, and it's so easy to just write off the entire friendship and only remember the end of it. Yeah. And there are some friendships that may have ended sour for some of you. They've ended sour for me. I've experienced deep betrayal. I've experienced so many things, and sometimes on my end, I'm not perfect either, right? Yeah. If we want to be honest, we're not always just getting hurt. Sometimes we're hurting people.
Yeah, come on.
And I remember there's some certain friendships that I really had to get honest with myself after a while and be like, dude, we may have had a bad ending, but the whole friendship wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And I need to remind myself that, like, man, this person played a big impact. I learned a lot from them. And I'm thankful for the good times, even though for whatever reason it took a bad turn, or you just, you just drifted apart. There's so many different reasons why friendships end, but it's just a good reminder, man. Be grateful for the good times, even if it ended in some bad times.
Come on.
And it's just so important, man. And I'm just reminded of the scripture where the Bible says that God gives and God takes away.
Come on.
And there may be some friendships in your life that maybe won't last forever. Maybe some that you have right now in your mind will be friends to the end, but for whatever reason they might not. And some of those are just part of our free will and our human mistakes, and life takes another way. But some of those, God might have a hand in taking away because he loves you.
Yeah.
And some of you right now, you're mourning the loss of some old friends. And like Pastor Evelyn said, it's okay to grieve those.
Yeah.
And walking a little bit with Pastor Influences, he's going through some of this in his life. And sometimes he just sits and, like, when I see him getting choked up, he's like, man, we've been friends for years, man. And it just sucks that this is happening. I'm like, dude, feel it, embrace it.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay for you to grieve. It's okay for you to mourn. It's okay for you to have the hardship. Sometimes God's making room for your next blessing.
Come on, dude. Come on.
He's making room. Like, from one season to the next, he's making room.
Yeah.
Friendship is a time commitment. And
Yeah.
God might be trying to take you into the next season. And the truth is, you just might not have the time. So God might be just making room. Might just be making room. There might be a friendship that drifted away, and you just don't know why. God's just making room.
Yeah. Come on.
He's making room for the next blessing. He's making room for the next opportunity. He's making room for the next season. And I just want to encourage some of you today. A friendship ended, and you're telling. I feel it in my heart right now. Some of you, I feel the Holy Spirit is saying to me. Some of you right now are saying to yourself, "Man, I invested years in that friendship. I don't have the energy to do it again." The Holy Spirit's going to give you the energy.
Come
the Holy
on.
Spirit's
Do it
gonna
again.
give you the strength to do it
Come
again.
on.
Some of you
Come
are
on.
convinced, man, me and that person were so tight. No one else will love me that way. You haven't experienced yet what it's like to be known and loved. God's about to bring you a new friend that you're going to go to another deep level that you hadn't experienced with. You thought you had reached the peak. God's about to show you, I'm about to take you to another level that you didn't know existed. And don't limit the power of God, of what he can do in your life through friendship. That sometimes you can do all the stuff we're talking about here today, and it still didn't work out.
Yeah.
You can do all the stuff we're talking about here today, and it still drifted away. He still got a job 74 states away. I know that it's mathematically incorrect, but you get my point. They can still get relocated. God still called them to the mission field. God, whatever it might be. For all that work, Lord, my friend just moved. God can bring you another one.
Come on.
But don't close off the next season because the last one didn't go according to plan. Don't close off the next one. One thing I've been so blessed by, I've had friendships go sour. I've had friendships drift apart. God has been faithful. He gives and he takes away. And sometimes he takes away, but then he gives again.
Come on.
He gives again. And I just believe right now, like, God, man, we're just in an epidemic of loneliness, bro.
Yeah.
Loneliness is at an all-time high, dude. And man, I just want to encourage y'all, like, don't lose hope. God can have a friend around the corner. Now, make sure you're working on yourself, that you're someone people want to be friends with. That's a whole other episode.
Yes.
You want friends, but you got to work on becoming a friend that people want to be friends with.
Yep. Absolutely.
Conversation for another day. But God's got more for you. He's got more for you. You can experience friendship. Pray, seek the Lord, but then also be willing to experience intimacy. We said it earlier. Deep friendship, intimacy is into me you see. But people will only see what you show them.
Yep.
Pull back the curtain. Identify, even if it's just one person. And take the risk.
Come on.
Take the risk. Ask the question. Share the struggle. They don't respond the way I'd hope. Next.
Come on.
I'm going to find someone. Friendship is my responsibility.
True.
I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to take in the time. And my hope is that all of us would learn from the life. Pastor Influence. Him and his wife, Phoenix, who I know is in chat right now during the live recording. Man, what I love about them, they're not afraid and they're not ashamed to be themselves. And they're not afraid and they're not ashamed to set a standard of it's okay to be wanted by your friends. Friends should spend time together. But most of us, we've seen 4 examples of friendship that we need to just practice being friends. Yeah. I'll tell you, my wife and I have learned a lot about friendship by being friends with you and your wife. Like, it's okay for the standard of friendship to be work. It's okay for the standard of friendship to be sacrifice and commitment. It's okay for the standard of friendship to be, it's okay for us to want to be together and to ask us to be together.
Yep.
It's friendship. Put yourself out there.
Come on.
And it's been life-changing for us, man. And my hope is that, man, more and more people in our church, in our community, you'll find some people and you'll just take the leap.
Come on.
Because you don't know what you're missing out on the other side of deep friendship. Stop just having acquaintances. Stop just having a friends list full of names and people you barely know. Take the step, take the risk, make a friend. And when you do, you'll get to experience what Influence and I are talking about. And it will change your life, man. And Influence, so I'm so grateful, man, to have you as our community pastor, because I know that just naturally people in our church will begin to learn this by interacting with you, because you model it through your life.
Come on.
I've been learning by seeing you model in your life. I'm becoming a better friend. I'm realizing friendship can be better than I thought it could be. And I'm super thankful for you, man. You truly are helping me and our people go to the next level. And I'm thankful for you, man.
I appreciate that. Seriously.
Well, friends, hope y'all been blessed by, I believe this is episode 8. We're almost at double digits.
Come on now. Come on.
Hope y'all been blessed by episode 8 of the Level Up Podcast. Weekly content, again, dedicated to helping you level up in your life, faith, and leadership. And I want to encourage you, if you're not already in our Discord, come get in community. Come make some friends. We love y'all. Remember, become a person of influence. You don't need a rank. You don't need a title. You don't need a role. I know you're talking to 2 people on screen that have both those things, but the reality is you can be a leader by becoming a person of influence, and you can start today by simply being kind. It costs you nothing, and it changes everything. Appreciate y'all. Subscribe, share, review, rate, all the things. We love you. We'll catch you in the next one.